stand amazed in your presence. Yeah. Mighty, mighty, mighty God. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. I stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. In all the earth, there's no one like you.
My name is Seeta Nalwoga. I'm married to Ibrahim Segwanga. We live in Seeta. I pray at Seeta Victory Cathedral. My pastor is Pastor Nyanzi, Israeli Salon. I'm here to testify about the glory of God, what God did in my life. Indeed, God is living. I reached a time of marriage when in 2009, and God was good to me. A man came and he proposed to me. This was a very handsome young man. He came before me. He proposed. He spoke a lot good things, and I agreed to marry him. Unfortunately, when we went to take a blood test, they discovered that he was HIV non-reactive, and I had the virus in my blood. My friends, it was very, very painful because I did not expect it. He had promised a lot, and I thought I'm going to begin my life with him. We are going in our marriage. But here the news came out that I'm positive, which meant that we could not continue with our wedding, our marriage. So I went to Seeta Victory Cathedral, pastored by a man of God called Pastor Nyanzi, Israeli Salon. When I went to him, I disclosed my status to him. I told him that we've tested. My fiancé is HIV non-reactive and I'm positive. So he told me, don't worry, we are going to join you in prayer. We are going to stand with you. And you must know one thing, that above everything there is God. To take you back, I want to show you the result slips which I received from the hospital. This was the first letter which I got from a SARS clinic, which declared me HIV reactive. That's a letter from SARS. It declared me HIV reactive. And when we came from SARS with this letter, I told my fiancé that no, these people might have given me results for another person. So I told him that we may go to another hospital for confirmation. We went to Nasaba Clinic, is in Seeta, and they confirmed that I had the virus. This time round, they told me that you are HIV positive. HIV positive. And when they gave me these letters, I did not doubt much because I already had a symptom. I used to cough something could come out of my mouth whenever I coughed, something which is filthy. It was as though someone cut a piece from my lung and wrapped it up with mucus, yellowish, black, and my breath was smelling. So when they told me this, I did not doubt much, but I cried so much because I didn't want to think of a situation of not being with my fiancé, whom I loved so much. So when I told Pastor Nyanzi, he told me not to worry. He told me he's going to stand with me in prayer. Then he also told me that in Nalwoga, you must know one thing, that above every situation, above everything, there is God. When he told me that, I believed him. So on Sunday, I went before him and I thought he was going to pray for me, to lay hands on me. But the Spirit of God in him told him that don't lay hands on her, just blow your air in her. And that's what he did. He blew air onto me and I fell down. He did it again and again. He did it 3 times. And on the 3rd time, while I was there, a voice spoke to me. It was loud and clear. It spoke to me saying that, and they blew a breath of life and he became a living being. When I heard that, I just believed. It came to my senses. I got some knowledge that I'm healed, because I turned back to see who had spoken, and I couldn't see anyone. Then when I stood up, I realized that I had ever read that word in the Bible. So I sat down and opened my Bible in Genesis 2:7, and I read when God was creating Adam. That's the same thing what he did. After creating him, he blew a breath of life and he became a living being. So with that, I got to know that I'm healed. So I went to the same clinic which gave me that bad report that I'm HIV positive. That's Nasaba clinic. They took my blood sample, they tested, and this time round things had changed. Even the medical personnel could not believe it. Because my results, they tested my blood thoroughly well, and this time I was HIV negative. This is, I want to show you the later. This is my result slip, which shows that I'm negative. You see? The God of Pastor Henry Nyanzi had changed the report. He had changed the report. I was HIV negative. I rejoiced. I was very, very excited. I ran to church. I fell on my belly. I worshipped God. And when I rose up, I started singing. For you are great. You do miracles so great. There is no one else like you. There is no one else like you. When I got that testimony, I went ahead and went to another hospital in Mukono called Mukono Dispensary, and this is the letter they gave me. This time it read TR, which also means that I don't have the virus. Because when they give you TRR, it means that you have the virus in your blood. But the result slip is like that. It is TR. I did not have the virus in my blood. It was amazing. I went and I showed my pastor this result slip. He rejoiced, he thanked God, he hugged me, and thanked God for my sake. So I called my fiancé and told him, please come and escort me. We go to SAS clinic. I wanted to go to the same hospitals which gave me those bad reports. So he escorted me, went to SAS, they took my blood sample, and when I went back to pick my results, they told me that they will not give me the results. Then I exclaimed and said, why don't you give me my results? Yet I paid. Let me show you the receipts. The receipts are here. which I used to pay at SARS clinic each time I went to test me, to take my blood test. You see that? There's this one too, you see? You take clear look of the dates. And this one. So those are the receipts. So when they told me that they're not going to give me my results, I told them, why? Why don't you give me my results? Yet I paid. Then they told me that your blood is intermediate. We don't understand what, because previous tests tell us that they read HIV reactive, and today we are seeing HIV negative. We don't understand what's happening. So they told me that what we are going to do, they are going to put a stamp and a signature on that very receipt. After 3 months, we'll come back and we take a clear look of your blood. So this is the receipt and the stamp and signature. So after 3 months, I went with my fiancé there. We went straight to the lab. They took my blood sample and tested. And when I went back to pick my results, again they were not in the counselor's room. This time the counselor called to the lab and they came over. There were like 5 of them. They came with the test slip results. So they asked me to if I had traveled with other test slips from other hospitals. And good enough, I had a test result slip from Nasaba and that of Mukono dispensary. I handed them over. They consulted the doctor. Then my fiancé became furious and said, why don't you give us what your phone? Then in the wrong line, they gave me my test slip result, and this time round it had HIV non-reactive. Let me show you. HIV non-reactive. So, see? So, my friend, I was so happy. We rejoiced, and we proceeded with our wedding and introduction. My fiancé went and paid all, and in my parents' place at Masaka. I went and introduced him. We made a very wonderful wedding, and today we are married with 2 children. The symptom which I had, I wanted to treat it. Then Pastor told me that if it was a result of HIV/AIDS which was in your body, it will get healed as time goes on. So, but I said, no, I have to go and treat this thing because I want to go to my husband when I don't have that filthy thing. So I went and they gave me a bottle which I could use to put my that content, that thing. They told me that I should put it there before eating and before brushing. But I failed to get it at the time they wanted. So I didn't take it back because I couldn't get it at the time they wanted it. But as time went by, I checked myself and this thing was no longer there. Today I'm fine. We have 2 children, a boy and a girl, and whenever I'm pregnant, they check me, and I don't have the virus. God healed me through the man of God in Seeta, Cathedral, Pastor Henry Nyanzi Israel Salon. So when I got healed, a gentleman called Musoke also believed. When he came to Pastor and he told him his status, Pastor told him that God who healed Nalwoga will heal you too. So Musoke got healed. There's a girl called Nabatan's Deborah. She also got healed of HIV AIDS. Housemaid of Aladisiru Tukumoi also came to church and she got healed. There is Sandy of Lugazi. Pastor Nyanzi took a crusade there and he got healed. There's also a lady who came from Masaka. Pastor prayed for her and she was bedridden. By the way, they brought her from the hospital, but she got healed today. She's a pastor there in Masaka. There's also another gentleman called Chibande Robert. He got healed of HIV/AIDS. There's another lady, her husband chased her because they took a test and the husband was negative and she was positive, called Ruth. She's called Ruth. And the husband wanted to chase her. In fact, he wanted to divorce her because he didn't want to contract the disease. But when she came to Pastor prayed for her, she got healed, and her husband reconciled with her. So many of them are getting healed here at Seeta Victory Cathedral. So if you're out there and you have the virus in your body, not only HIV/AIDS, you might be out there with cancer. We've seen so many people here getting healed of cancer. The cancer of the uterus, the cancer of the blood. So you just come to Seeta Victory Cathedral. God will touch you through the man of God, Pastor Henry Nyanzi Israel Salon.
Yes. Mighty God. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. I stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope.